You are 26. Your coworker just drove home a $34,000 Hyundai Tucson, 72 monthly payments, panoramic sunroof, keyless entry. You drove home an $8,200 Honda Civic with a dent on the passenger door and 41,000 miles on it. He looked at you the way people look at someone who orders water at a bar. Over the next 29 years, that one decision, never buying new, will separate you by $430,000. $4 used cars against 6 new ones. Same roads, same parking lots, same commute. One of you retires at 60, the other is still making payments. You earn $44,000 a year. You paid cash for the Civic from a savings account you started at 22. Your coworker sends $623 a month to a lender for the next 6 years. You send $623 a month to a brokerage account. Same dollar, same month. One builds equity for a bank, the other builds equity for you. At 27, the Civic has 53,000 miles and a new set of tires that cost $440. Your coworker's Tucson has 12,000 miles and has already lost $6,800 in value. He does not know this because nobody tells you your car is worth less while you are still making payments on what it was worth more. Depreciation is the bill that arrives without an envelope. At 28, you watch a colleague at work finance a pickup truck for $52,000, $80 4 months. His monthly payment is higher than your rent was 2 years ago. He drives it to the same parking garage, parks it in the same concrete space, and takes the same elevator to the same floor. The truck does not know it was expensive. The garage does not know it was new. Only the bank knows, because the bank is the one getting paid. You are 30, the Civic has 87,000 miles. It needs a $1,400 repair, the timing belt and water pump, the kind of maintenance that sounds expensive until you compare it to a car payment. You pay it. The car runs for another 3 years without asking for anything beyond oil changes and tires. Your total cost of ownership over 4 years, $8,200 purchase, $2,600 in maintenance, $1,800 in tires. $12,600. Your coworker has paid $29,900 in car payments over the same 4 years and still owes $14,900 on a vehicle now worth $19,000. At 31, you buy your second car, a 3-year-old Toyota Camry with 34,000 miles, $19,400. You pay cash again, this time from the brokerage account that has been growing since you were 26. The account has $38,000 in it. You withdraw half, the other half stays invested. Your coworker is 2 years from paying off the Tucson and already browsing new models because the lease ads on his phone show something shinier for only $499 a month. At 33, you do the math for the first time. In 7 years, you have spent $31,600 on 2 cars, maintenance, and tires combined. Your coworker has spent $44,700 on 1 car. The difference is $13,100. That difference is sitting in your brokerage account earning 7% a year, and 7% on $13,100 over 20 years is not $13,100. It is $50,700. You are not saving money on cars. You are buying time in the market, and time in the market is the only asset that multiplies while you sleep. At 34, a friend asks why you do not treat yourself to something nicer. You think about the question longer than he expects. You are not depriving yourself. You are choosing between 2 versions of the same money. One version sits in your driveway and loses $1,000 a month in value. The other version sits in an index fund and gains, on average, $700 a month in value. The choice is not between a nice car and a cheap car. The choice is between a depreciating asset and an appreciating one. And when you see it that way, the used Camry is not a sacrifice. It is the most rational object you own. At 35, your coworker finally pays off the Tucson. He celebrates by trading it in for a new RAV4, $42,000, $80 for monthly payments of $687. He starts the cycle again. You do not judge him. You understand the pull, the new car smell, the clean odometer, the feeling that this is the car that matches who you have become. But you also understand that the car does not know who you are. It knows what you paid, and what you paid is not a measure of arrival. It is a measure of departure from every dollar you will not have at 60. You are 37. The Camry has 98,000 miles. It is the most boring car in every parking lot you enter. Nobody compliments it. Nobody asks about it. Nobody knows it is the reason your investment account reads $72,000 while the average American your age has $17,000 in savings. The Camry does not care about being interesting. Neither does compound interest. At 38, you buy your third car, a 3-year-old Mazda CX-5 with 29,000 miles, $23,800, cash. Your coworker is on his third new car. He traded the RAV4 at a loss after 4 years because the transmission hesitated at highway speed, and the dealer offered him a deal on a new Subaru Outback, $44,000, 84 months, $724. He has now spent over $120,000 on car payments in 12 years. You have spent $53,200 total on 3 cars, every repair, every tire, every registration. The gap between you and your coworker is not about taste. It is about $66,800, and $66,800 invested at 7% from age 38 to 60 becomes $296,000. That is not a car. That is a house. That is 15 years of retirement income. That is the difference between working at 62 because you need to and stopping at 60 because you chose to. At 42, you read something that changes nothing about your strategy but confirms everything about your instinct. Warren Buffett, worth over $130 billion, drives a 2014 Cadillac XTS. He bought it with hail damage to get a discount. He drives about 3,500 miles a year. His daughter went to the dealership for him because he did not want to spend the afternoon negotiating. The richest investor in history does not drive a new car, not because he cannot afford one, because he understands what a new car costs, not the sticker price, the opportunity cost. Every dollar in a depreciating asset is a dollar not in an appreciating one. He has been saying this since the 1960s. Most people hear it, nod, and finance a new SUV the following weekend. At 45, the investment account crosses $210,000. You have been investing the difference between what you spend on cars and what your coworker spends on cars for 19 years. The account contains your contributions and 2 decades of compounding. You contributed about $78,000. The market added $132,000. For every dollar you saved by not buying new, the market gave you $1.69. The car you did not buy paid you back almost double. At 48, you buy your fourth car, a 3-year-old Honda Accord with 31,000 miles, $22,600, cash. Your coworker is on his 5th new car. He has spent approximately $215,000 on car payments over 22 years. You have spent $78,400 total on 4 cars, all maintenance, all insurance differentials, everything. The lifetime gap is now $136,600. At 50, the account crosses $320,000, $20 4 years of investing the difference. Your coworker has a nicer car. You have a retirement account that would take him 15 years to match at his current savings rate. He does not know this because you do not talk about it. You do not talk about it because money that talks is money that performs. Money that performs is money that was quiet long enough to compound. At 52, you sit down with a spreadsheet. You list every car you bought, every repair, every tire, every registration fee. Total spent on cars in 26 years, $101,000, $4 cars. Average cost per year, $3,884. Your coworker's total, $287,000, $6 cars. Average cost per year, $11,038. The difference per year, $7,154. That is not a rounding error. That is a second retirement account hiding inside a decision most people make without thinking. The average American will spend $470,000 on cars over a lifetime. That is not an estimate. It is the research. 10 cars, each one newer than the last, each one losing 20% of its value in the first year, each one financed at rates that make the lender richer and the driver poorer. $470,000. Invested at 7% over 40 years, that number becomes $2.1 million. Nobody is asking you to never own a car. The question is whether the car needs to be new. And the answer, which is obvious in a spreadsheet and invisible in a dealership, is that it does not. You are 55. The account reads $430,000, $20 9 years, 4 used cars, driven until they asked to stop, no car payments, no negative equity, no months where the choice was between the car bill and the investment transfer. The transfer always won because there was never a car bill competing with it. You are 26 again. The listing is open on your phone. $8,200, $4 years old, 41,000 miles, a dent on the passenger door. Your coworker will buy new and feel the thrill that lasts until the first payment. You will buy used and feel nothing, which is exactly what the best financial decisions feel like. Nothing today, everything later. The car does not build your wealth. The car you did not buy does.